evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Commissar here with a PvT today between OGS ForGG, our Red Terrans player spawning in the bottom left hand side of the map, and up in the top right hand side of the map we have none other than Team Liquid's Hero. So ForGG, a very famous player in his own right, particularly for his Brood War career, I believe. So yep, he's been around in the Korean scene for quite some time. StarCraft 2 scene hasn't made the biggest of impacts, but is still a tip-top player, a Grandmaster player, I do believe. Tournament results I'm not actually quite so sure of, but we'll just move on anyway, why not? OGS, of course, Old Generations, a very, very top clan over in Korea. Formerly the clan of MC before he went over to SKGaming, which is, of course, not a Korean team. He went over into the foreign scene MC, and MC is still brilliant. But the point is, OGS is a brilliant, brilliant team. Maybe not up there with, MVP, Complexity MVP. Maybe not. Not a big deal. They're basically up there with everybody else. In the meantime, Liquid Hero, being the Korean mastermind, basically, of Team Liquid, he has gone to the GSL recently, Code S, and placed in the top 4. A very, very good achievement in its own right. And that has been his one recent result lately. That has won him over $4,000, that's US. About 4,263, I believe, was the number. But of course he was paid in the Korean currency, the name of which eludes me. Okay, so we are going to see Hero scouting around here, and the key thing to note here is what he's going to see in terms of gas. And he is harassing the mineral line here, risking losing the probe, but ForGG choosing not to kill the probe, as he doesn't think it'll be worth the loss of mining time in killing off that scout before getting a marine. So he's obviously not concerned about being scouted. Of course, if he was, he'd be building over at the ramp, building supply depots over at the ramp, barracks over at the ramp for a nice scouting. Not really any point with the probe arriving so early in the first place. And we are going to see the scout of ForGG go out now, and it will see the insane, what, 15-16 Nexus of Hero. Nexus before Gateway against a Terran player. That is not something you see very often, ladies and gentlemen, and it is pretty exciting to see. Why? Because it's normally so risky if your opponent goes one base particularly, but ForGG expanding himself, an expansion which has been scouted, and that is so cool that both of these players basically blindly going for super fast command centers, expansions. And of course this map does have a decent choke here, a better choke at the ramp over here. You can be flanked from the side, sure, but generally build a few buildings and it's easy to defend your natural. Even your third base is easy to defend. So why not expand early? I often go for one gate expands myself, but I've never been quite this ballsy in my own games. Of course, I don't have the precision of timings and micro skills of Hero, so I can't hold off a push of Marines only, for example, as well as, say, Hero can. Anyway, so the expand of Hero will actually be faster than the expand of ForGG, but what is more important is a second command center, a second expansion. So really a third command center coming up for ForGG already. This is an extremely macro-heavy play, evidently. And the cool thing about it is that a Protoss player who goes for such a fast expand of his own can't really pressure this straight away. I mean, you're likely to see this orbital this become an orbital and stay in the base of ForGG for quite some time before he, say, lifts off and lands over, saturating 2 bases before moving out to a third base, such that it's easier to defend your 2 bases and it won't change your income to expand before you're saturated at 2 bases. That's not going to take off anytime soon, I think, but it is so cool as he does get 3 mules at a time. He gets, more SCV production, and he ends up, the end result is a faster third base, and oh my god, Hero is doing the same exact thing. So I feel like perhaps Hero just knows that this sort of thing is going to happen. I don't know, perhaps he's expecting that ForGG will be going for this macro heavy build. I don't know, but if you look at what he's actually got on the field at the moment, we see 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, 6 Marines for ForGG. Both players against a 1-basing opponent would be dead. They both saw each other fast expanding and both decided that they wanted to be ahead and get a third base. It's a pretty insane start to a game, and it is going to be pretty exciting, as this does basically mean we're going to see a long macro game, almost definitely. And when you have 2 tip-top Koreans in a macro game, It's pretty exciting to see. Anyway, so ForGG is going to be going for 3 barracks at the moment. We are going to see some Marauders, I believe, added on in a moment. We do see 2 tech labs and a reactor sim already on the way. And yeah, you'll have to assume what we'll have to wait and see. Obviously going to be very bio-heavy. And that's about all we can say for now. That is the most standard thing to do, to go for Marine Marauder medevac, ghosts, perhaps in the later game, upgrades, all that good stuff. Meanwhile, Hero, what is he going to go for? Well, we don't really know yet. He appears to just have a ton of gateways at the moment, so just getting out as many gateways as he can as quickly as possible to wake, say, a big wave of Stalker, Sentries, or whatever. Basically to get up enough units to actually defend his third base from any early bio pushes. The key thing to note by Hero is look at his map vision. He has this tower, he has these 2 Stalkers at the front, he's sending even a proxy pylon over in the middle. He's going to be attacking with these gateways, as you can see obviously, otherwise he wouldn't be sending out a probe. But yeah, the key thing to note by Hero is also several proxy pylons, always key to note. But his map vision allows him to basically know, okay, my opponent can't attack me in the next minute because I'll see the moment he leaves his base. And what that means for Hero is that he knows he's safe to move out across the map. He knows nothing will happen back at his base, because of course there are no proxy pylons from a Terran player, that doesn't exist. And meanwhile we do see no concussive shells, and we are going to see these Stalkers chased away. But for how long? This is a pretty big force, not many Stalkers in it, yes. But right force fields could see this bunker going down. I really don't see ForGG being broken completely here. He's a bit behind an army though, may have to be forced to repair. Maybe, just maybe, if all the Zealots start getting good hits off, maybe Hero can make something big happen. But this wave of Zealots Sentry, again, gonna make it even more and more potent here. And ForGG already surrounding the bunker with SCVs. They can, of course, be force fielded out, though. We'll have to wait and see if that does happen. There are no force fields yet, only a Guardian Shield. I feel this is a mistake by Hero here, doing almost no damage because of these repairs. And Hero just being demolished here, when perhaps he shouldn't have been, because he could have so easily force fielded out every single SCV, prevented any repairs from happening. But as a result, Units Lost tab shows he's lost 15 units, 1,550 resources, while ForGG has lost only 7 units, 350 resources. So really, Hero is relying on ForGG to move out and be force fielded into his base. Because at the moment, Hero's just basically stuffed himself up. 3 force fields there for no particular reason that I can gather. Appears to just be able to cover his retreat, because he knows that he can't really do anything now, because he blew it. And really, he had the right sort of composition to push bunkers. That's the purpose you think you need to push bunkers. But I guess the key thing to note for him is that by preventing the SCVs from repairing, he would also be preventing his Zealots from attacking the bunker. As such, his DPS against it would have been really low anyway. So the key thing to take out of this is that ForGG's preemptive surround on that bunker is actually a really good and clever defensive play. And how many SCVs did he lose? Well, he lost 6. And in economy, he's still what? He's behind by 13 halves actually. But it's not a big deal. He has mules, and in the end of the day, it's 3 base to 3 base. Well, it's about to be as soon as this base lands. And ForGG is not struggling too much. The thing to note from Hero is that Hero appears to have gone insane, charge finishing for him, not going Robo, going for Psystorm straight off the bat. And I worry about him. Why? Because Ghosts are already on the field, no cloak on them yet. It could be feedback, maybe. But the game could end. If one EMP lands on the right spot, the game is over for Hero. And that is why I hate Templar builds, because they are just so volatile. Unless you are able to get a War Prism and protect your High Templar from EMPs, it becomes messy. We'll have to wait and see how Hero does micro this, as gateway builds rely on you being basically brilliant at micro. They rely on armor upgrades so that Zealots can tank a ton of damage, and we are going to see double upgrades out of both players actually. So sure, Hero has the upgrades he needs, but his opponent is going to match that. So it is going to be basically gateways versus barracks units this game. You'd expect Colossi in a typical game, so of course the Vikings, if built, would be wasted, but they're not being built, so they won't be wasted. And it's gonna come down to the Ghost vs High Templar in this game. Even the sentries being EMP'd could be big, and we do see 1 EMP, 2 sentries being taken out in terms of their energy, and actually gonna die, and there we do see 1 storm. Gonna delay the push here of ForGG, but that is gonna provoke a poke forward by the Ghost to try and get an EMP up. It's going to be a bit of a stalemate here as both players are afraid to make the move. Here comes Hero though, not afraid apparently. Going to touch straight into the EMP and goes to where the EMP is, right in the middle of the army. That's what I meant, almost every single unit being EMP'd though, an Archon and one Templar still has Storm, and it is remaining on the field. So that one Storm could be crucial, and there's that one Storm, and it is not going to do as much damage as it needs to perhaps, but Hero does still have a sizable force, and he is going to try and engage a charge, so crucial. This Archon is going to be so critical, so is the second Archon. And the Templar with Storm coming in, and it looks like the energy on the medevacs being so low. This Fireball has overstimmed its way to death, and one Storm would basically one-shot all of these units. As such, ForGG is going to have to back off. And in the end, not a bad trade for for Hero at all. He is slightly ahead in supply, about even still at this stage, and we are going to see him be cleaned up over here. These elves are not going to do much at all. Even though this army is still so squishy. Of course, more medevacs crucially on the field now, 6 in total. Should be able to heal this up, no problem, given a little bit of time to get their energy higher. Low energy also means lack of feedbacking, but really, the better the energy, the higher the energy, the better for ForGG for his stim pack. And he is still making ghosts, he's still making medevacs. So really, his army is not going to be any more squishy than it is right now. But Hero, of course, still low on that energy, still low on the High Templar count. Well, 8, so not really low on the High Templar count, but low on the Storm's available count, and positioning of the Storms isn't great in terms of where the High Templar are. They're spread out. So they're not great for an attack. I mean, they're great for defense, they're great for shutting down drops. Not the best for an attack. As such, Hero can't really push ForGG right now. And if you look at ForGG, he's just sprung way ahead in supply. But that is because Hero is making the switch into Colossi, going for that late game build, and he's also getting 2-2 upgrades before his after his opponent, because his opponent's already on 3-3. So it is going to be even upgrades. We're going to see an engagement over here, a very odd engagement, as Hero is just going to be warping in. Small armies versus small armies, skirmishes going around all over the place, it seems, as a big push is coming in for the middle for Hero. The Storm's so crucial, hitting so many units there, but they're not going to do enough damage, as it looks like the supply count of ForGG too high. And we are going to see, though, a couple of workers go down here. Another Storm going to be pretty nice, killing a couple of Marauders. These Marauders are going to be cleaned up, but this Zealot count is a lot more valuable than 5 Marauders, and they are all going to die for little gain at all. Here, Tab still going to show our Terran player way ahead by 3,800 money. Spending, though, does show that the Protest player has spent more on every aspect of the game, so he's had more money to spend. Basically, it's an even game at this point, with both players being able to trade fairly evenly, a bit favouring ForGG, but the economy favours ForGG a bit too. As such, I'd call it even at this stage. Upgrades even. Tech, well, basically both players are at a fairly late game tech at this stage. We do have basically Marine Marauder, Medevac, Ghost is viable all game long, very heavy Marauder focus. High Templar, Archon, Colossus, Charge Lot, Stalker, also very viable all game long. And here comes the big push from ForGG. And we do see the Colossus moving in, but it is a very small army in the end by a Hero. A very valuable army though, tons of Storms available, and he's just going to try and delay this with as many Storms as he can, I think, as he needs a couple more Warp-ins to come in for him. As you can see, his Zealot count, only 16, not enough really to be taking up all the damage they need to. And here comes the push, and the EMPs not actually being the best. They did hit quite a few units, but not the High Templar. And there goes a couple of Storms. The Medevac's being caught in too. One Medevac going down, a second one also going down, but it looks like this base may fall here. The Colossus is on low health. The Templar are running out. So is the Fireball though of our Terran player. That final Storm killing so many units, more and more Warpins going in all the time. The Colossus is still alive so crucially that it has nothing left to tank damage for it. Looks like this base may go down, but there are no reinforcements coming in for ForGG. And it looks like when these Zealots arrive back at base, Hero will hold, but his base is already down. ForGG has already achieved his goal, and as a result, ForGG is he ahead? Well, I'm not entirely sure if he's ahead, but he's certainly not behind in the economy game anymore. Command centers, it is what, 3? I believe it's only 3. Yeah, only 3 command centers left for ForGG. It's about to be 4 base for Hero yet again. So Hero's still going to stay 1 step ahead on the base count, still ahead on Harvesters, income about even. So the Harvesters make up for the Mules at the moment. And really, that basically means it's going to come down to these battles, because it's going to be army trading. And here's some economic harassment coming in, trying to even it out a bit. But no, ForGG, by not reinforcing, he's basically making himself better for drops. You can see he didn't reinforce that. Had he reinforced, maybe could have pushed to the third base, maybe could have won the game, maybe. But if he did, he would have perhaps lost bases to counterattacks, and if Hero did hold, Hero would have been way ahead. Hence, ForGG did not rally across the map like he would in Brood War. Okay, so we do see ForGG, his medevac count still decent, but very, very low on health. Need repairs desperately, and oh my god, the Templar way out of position here, all dying here, but at the same time the Marauder Ball is dying at the same time. Although Hero losing the Templar, not the best trade for him at all, gonna be forced to retreat, and now he has no storms left. That shows how dangerous it is to go Templar, because one misclick can cost them all their lives and can cost you big battles, but the army of ForGG perhaps not big enough to push the advantage at this time. He is trying to switch it up into Vikings to match these Colossi. It appears he succeeded in doing this, and I'm going to have to wait and see what Hero does going forward from here. Because sure, in the late game, in general, Terrans say that Protoss tends to be the better race, but EMP is catching those Templar out of position, harassment. That sort of play, having a good Viking count, it can be almost impossible to stop. So unless you have an enormous Colossus count and a clear answer for Vikings, it can be hard for the Protoss player. We do see again another big push coming in from ForGG, and he appears to just be sort of dancing around with Hero here, just trying to avoid the direct engagement, as he knows that his army is so vulnerable now, losing one Colossus. The second one may go down, and it does go down. The third one's still up though. One Colossus left only. But the cool thing for Hero here is look at the Viking count. How many Vikings are on the field? What, 6? 2 more about to pop out. That's 16 supply on countering Colossi. And the Colossus count for Hero is low. He is making more Colossi now, but should he have not done that, he would have basically seen the supply of the Vikings being wasted. He is going Colossi though, so perhaps, well, he really needs to kill the Vikings then. Because without killing the Vikings, he's leaving himself vulnerable to, basically, to the army composition of ForGG. The Goats, of course, and the Vikings being the 2 key elements of this army. Should they go down, it'll all be over. And nice play here, sending out a few units at a time, trying to draw away some of the energy of his opponent. So yeah, trying to draw away maybe a storm perhaps, but really looking at the army of Hero, it's so Archon focused that the storms are not going to be in abundance. Meanwhile, on the bottom of the map, we do see a planetary being morphed in. Yeah, sorry, I've paused the game due to lag here. And there we go, now back up with the frame rate, and we do see the planetary being taken down by 3 Zealots. Well, it won't be taken down, it will be softened up a bunch though. May even light fire in the end, and it looks like it will, but meanwhile, much more importantly, a big battle going up at the top side. Hero, of course, has not made the big engagement yet. The base will go down, but we do now see an out-of-position army of ForGG being engaged from the flank, and suddenly Hero, with his splashdown, just taking the advantage here. The medevacs are out of healing energy, and no storm though is available. The Archons are all down now. It is going to be a very close battle. One storm at the back going to be huge, and that is going to force away the army of ForGG, will destroy it rather. And the few Marauders do remain. This base almost dying in the end, narrowly surviving. And crucially for ForGG, sorry. And these Vikings, oh my god, being so pesky, killing off a bunch of probes at the front. And even though Hero has held, he is not ahead in supply, and it is still a fairly even game. These games are very, very difficult to play in because they go on and on and on, with the warp gates, sorry, the gateway armies just dying fairly convincingly. If it's gateway based, these armies, as Hero's armies are, they can die pretty easily, and they also kill stuff really, really fast. So it's basically a question of reinforcement rates of the macro in the end. Who runs out of money first? Who stops chucking in units into the meat grinder first? And just dies basically because they don't have enough money to support it. And it looks like with all the Zealots being killed cheaply here, this is going to favor here ForGG, this trade here. But more reinforcing Zealots are going to help out a bunch. The key thing being that there are no medevacs to heal up the damage from the storms. Going to allow a bit of a push in here by Hero. Although now out of medevacs, his Archons are left stranded and alone. Gonna try and engage here, gonna kill a bunch of units with that splash damage. You can see immediately ForGG backs off, spreads his units out a little bit, and then cleans up the Archons, no problem. Of course, the key thing to note is Zealots in the middle line over here, 6 and 5 kills respectively, and Stalkers on the high ground up here, actually going unchecked, again, 11 kills over here. And that play may be able to win the Hero of the game, potentially may be able to give him the crucial edge he needs, as Workers killed 52 to 29, favors Hero by a lot. income tab shows 24 to 53 harvesters, and after in that time killing about 20 harvesters right then and there, with 2 stalkers, a high templar, and 2 zealots, suddenly the economy game favors hero, and with both players on such low supply, surely having such a big economic lead is going to favor hero, make hero the favorite to win this game. The big thing to watch out for though, look at the gas count of our Terran player, over 2,000, while hero is basically using up every dollar he has as he earns it. And these High Templar are so clumped up, an EMP could end the game, but there are no ghosts anywhere to be seen. No ghosts EMP means these High Templar are going to cause so much havoc. And these, oh my god, the medevacs are basically all dead at this stage. The last 2 going down, only 1 left, and it goes down as well. More storms coming in. They are being dodged quite well by ForGG. He is going to clean up the Archons, it looks like. Well, yeah, he's going to clean up the Archons. But at what cost? He has so little money left to reinforce that this is exactly what hero needs. He needs these trades. Let's look at the gas income. It is all hero, baby. And hero is perhaps going to beat ForGG in this very, very long game. No gas is being mined over here. No gas mining over here either, voluntarily. That's because the gas being saved up, by the way. He has enough gas saved up to not need to mine gas. The big thing to note though is just that can ForGG keep up? Mules are keeping him in at the moment because he just has enough mineral income from this 1 base's worth of mules to just basically, oh my god, that Stalker is just such a genius. But yeah, mules are basically keeping him in the game for the moment. A drop, well, a Viking rather coming in here on the ground, killing a bunch of probes. That's odd that they didn't move out of the way, but importantly, the Stalker over here has been killed off. It did delay a lot of mining though, and every second of mining matters so much for ForGG. He's mining out this space so fast. And the spending tabs, you'll see. Basically this game, hero has always had more money to spend, and that is why ForGG is struggling. Not because he's traded poorly, he's still ahead on units last tab. This entire game he's traded well. It's just because of the economy. And as much as basically as well harassed as the space can be, so the better harassment, the better the chances of hero winning the game. As when that's being harassed, that base is useless. And this High Templar, when it gets enough energy to storm that mineral line, could win the game right then and there. Okay, a big push though coming in for ForGG. It is not all in, he has a ton of ghosts though, and he's running out of his gas reserves. They are slowly dwindling. His mineral income is still very high though. His income is showing that he has not been making harvests, still at 22. And oh my god, here comes the Templar. The Storm though not being used. The Stalker's scaring away the units on the low ground. But no mining now for ForGG, and here comes a big push, and really without any mining going down right now, this next battle could well determine the fate of the outcome of the game. As should ForGG go through here, should he kill this base off, Hero's economy will be nothing, because he's mined out at every other base on minerals. And should this base be shut down, which it is being shut down by the way, by these 2 Stalkers, and should this attack fail, ForGG will have nothing left, so this battle is going to decide it all, and a storm hitting everything! So crucially, there goes the ghosts, but not EMPing, sniping a ghost though, very nice. Well, they do have cloak on them though, and that is about to run out, the energy is running low, the base does go down, the probes do escape though. So it's not going to be over yet for the economy of Hero. The economy of ForGG though, look at his income, it is nothing! And he has not had an answer to this high ground Stalker play of Hero, which really, it would have been worth a few Marauders on the high ground to deal with that. But meanwhile, we do see that half the army being engaged here by all of Hero's army, and that is going to be the hero thing that Hero needs to get back in this. The medevac is not going to go down. It is going to evacuate those ghosts, but they are going to go down to Zealots anyway, it looks like. And there is the GG by Hero, who in the end could not actually stand up to the flank. So that is an insane game. And it's just so close. I mean, I'm gonna go back there and show you Hero. Well, he's engaging here, almost killing everything. Killing this army alone would have basically been victory for him. I mean, had he not lost this base, he would have been so far ahead. He was up by 13 to 45 harvesters. Hero had no reinforced capacity, he had 0 mineral income. And wow, that is about as close as it gets, ladies and gentlemen, because really, those Stalkers, they were brilliant. They had basically killed the entire economy of ForGG. Although, unfortunately for Hero, he didn't have any mining at the time that he lost the units. And like I said, when it's bio versus gateway units, as soon as you run out of money to reinforce, as soon as you stop throwing units into the grinder, you basically lose the game because suddenly the enemy's numbers are overwhelming. And while 4GG was about 30 seconds away or so, one more battle away, one more wave of reinforcements basically would have killed off 4GG's army and he would have lost the game. But Hero ran out that instant earlier, and as such lost the game. So that was insane. I hope you liked the game. Please do subscribe if you do enjoy it, and please give me some criticism. Without being rude, I just want to tell you, I want to hear what I've done wrong, what's horrible about this cast, what I can do to improve it. I really want to hear things other than frame rate drops. They weren't bad this game. I would preferably not like to hear 1080p either, as we all know that that's not an option with my Australian internet. That is about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys at another time.